Hey everyone, Experian here again. Hope everyone's doing well. I have not been uploading for a while. That's because I was sick for these past couple of days, so that's why I haven't been uploading. Uh, Again, I know it's not great for the algorithm, but hey, you know, I had to take the time to rest and recover, and now I'm back. And yeah, I'm ready to get back into it. I hope everybody has been doing well, no matter where you've been. But today, and you will hear me clear my throat throughout the video because I'm still recovering. I haven't fully recovered as yet. But today I wanted to do something a little different. Normally when I make my videos, I'll like have a topic and then I'll write on points that I want to talk about. This I wanna do it a little bit differently. I just want to free flow and just talk about what I want to talk about. Um, because it's something that's been on my heart, I guess, my heart, my chest for a while. I really wanted to speak about it, and I'm seeing a lot of other people also talking about this, which is also compelling me to share my experience as well. And what I wanted to talk about is the fact that the way the world is today is just so self sabotaging, in the sense that capitalism has reached a point where it's literally collapsing under its own weight, right? And all of us here, in this generation, just have to roll with the punches essentially and deal with the massive disaster that is today's society and today's system, how everything is structured. Recently, I've been having incredible difficulty in terms of just simply finding a job. Finding a job, finding work, um, to take care of myself, literally, just so that I can have money to take care of myself. And it's been months, can't find a single job, sending out dozens of applications. At this point, I know I have actually exceeded over like 100 applications at this point. I've lost track of how many emails I've gotten saying I'm either being turned down, rejected, or just no response at all. Even the job market is so terrible that there's just no work. Even though people are always hiring, no one's getting hired. And I actually know a lot of individuals, both online and personally, who are going through the exact same thing, where some of my friends, they even have way more experience and credentials than I do, right? Um, Big degrees, experience in whatever field they're in, and they can't find jobs at all, and they are struggling. And all of us are wondering, how are we going to make ends meet? Because what good, again, like, it calls into question a lot of things. One question being, what is the point of education? Like, what is the point of furthering my education if I don't even get a job? Much less like a better job. You don't get any job, even if you further your education. What's the point? You know, um, it calls into question that whole market because we were sold this dream, and I am not the only person to state this. There have been others who have brought up the same issue where we were sold this dream where you gotta go to school, gotta work hard, go to university or college or whatever, get your degree, go out there, get a good paying job, and you'll be able to handle yourself, you'll do great. And that's just not the case. It's just not the case. We are in a world where you do that, and all you do is essentially put yourself in debt before you even start, and you can't even find a job, right? So it is just such a crazy thing. And the fact that we even have statements or phrases like you need to earn a living is so crazy to me, because it's like, isn't that just an inherent right? You know, just to live, to exist. You were born, you didn't ask to be born, you were brought into this world. That's just your God-given right to just exist, and to exist comfortably. We have the capabilities as a society, as community, as humanity to do so, right? But we don't. We follow this archaic system where it's like, oh, you gotta earn your living, but there's no opportunities for all of us to do that. It is actually one point I see a lot of these people, especially these big business owners and these capitalists, they don't mention the fact that not every person can even work. Like, it is actually impossible for every person on this planet to work. There just wouldn't be enough jobs. We are at a stage in, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say development, but we are at a stage. Humanity is at a stage where almost, I would say, I'll have to estimate here a bit. About half to 75% of jobs now will not even exist, or should not even exist in a couple of years with the advancements we have in technology, right? One good example as of right now actually is food. Everybody everybody can have food. Everybody can get fed today, right? And it would not even impact the economy negatively. It's not going to affect um, anybody negatively, unless you want to talk about those big mega rich corporations. But that's another story. Which I will tackle. I will tackle that. That's the only thing that's going to get hurt, which it should, to be honest. But everyone can get fed, but scarcity is manufactured. Literally, poverty is man-made. You know, it's man-made so that, you know, there is this constant scarcity. So there's a constant need to buy, spend money. You know, that's one good example of something where, why are we doing this to ourselves exactly? Like, what's the point? You know, you have people every day, they're just wondering where their next meal is going to come from, where their next paycheck is going to come from, instead of wondering, how can I better myself today? How can I better society today? People don't have time to even think about that. People don't have time to even relax. Every day is, oh my God, I gotta find work, and then when they are working, oh my God, I gotta keep this job, you know, because I need to get money, because I need to go get food, I need to pay my bills, I got taxes to worry, I got rent, all these different things piled up on top of you, and the expenses just keep rising, but the pay remains the same, you know. And back to what I was talking about at the start about, you know, how difficult it's been to find jobs. That's not even to say that there aren't jobs, because there are jobs out there that I could actually go for, right? Here's the issue: they pay so little that it doesn't even make sense for me to apply, because it's like I'm applying for pennies, right? There are these jobs out here that will pay so little that you can't even consider paying your rent with that. You can't even consider paying for groceries with that. You can't. It's so little. So it's like, well, what's the point, you know, of even applying for this job where it does not even earn me enough for a basic level? I'm talking the most basic of basic. I'm not talking about living a lavish lifestyle where, you know, I got luxury cars, I'm living in a fancy mansion. No, I'm talking about the most basic fundamental human needs of water, food, shelter, clothing, and of course any other like small little miscellaneous things, that is not even being met. The basics, right, with these jobs. So how is it that, in this society you're expected to not only take care of yourself, but you're expected to, you know, manage all of this. Manage all of this, like with no problem at all, when the reality is that you can't even manage it. It is a disaster, a literal chaotic disaster. Can't afford anything, can't get a job. Um, Goodness gracious me, I don't know. I don't know. I've seen other people talk about this as well, but there needs to be a universal basic income. There has to be. We have reached that point where not everybody can work, right? There's just not enough jobs for all of us, right? Secondly, most of these jobs don't even pay you enough for you to take care of yourself, which should be a right, a human right from the jump. Every human being, from the moment they are born, should have that inherent right to have food, have shelter, clothing, water, etc. Right? Just the basics, right? These are the basics. There are actually people. I actually saw a video recently. I think it was one of the new people they hired at the World was it the WEF, the World Economic Fund or something like that, where he's essentially saying that water should not be free. He's saying, well, these people at the top, the World Economic Fund, mind you, are saying that something as basic as water should not be free and should be charged as a foodstuff, just like everything else. I could not believe my ears. When I saw that, I was like, is this real? Is this real life? You telling me water, which has been on this planet long since we were here, right? Long before we were here, you gonna charge me for that? You see, a lot of people fail to realize that we don't create anything. We don't. We make improvements on things on the world and on this planet, but we never created anything. Everything we have done or made has been from the inherent value of the earth, which we all live on and we all have an obligation to take care of because we live here. Duh, Like what? Are you serious? Like you're gonna try to monetize water? Oh my goodness. I'm trying not to make myself laugh because I'm gonna start coughing because I still haven't fully recovered from the cold. But it's so ridiculous where we have reached. These people would charge you for breathing air if they could. And honestly speaking, that's probably where we will end up if we don't make a change now. Seriously, I would not be surprised if a couple of years down the line, if things continue the way they are going, that you will eventually get charged for breathing air. Like, it sounds so crazy, insane, but at the same time, all of us, me included, I'm sure you and I can both tell that, hey, that actually sounds kind of realistic with the way things are going. That will actually turn into a reality if we don't make a change now. So, this is just something that I just wanted to talk about because it's one thing to see it on the news, right? But it's another thing to be a part of it, to actually experience it. I am actually experiencing this, where this whole society is based on earning a living, I can't even get a job. Well, what am I supposed to do then? Just what? Kick rocks and die? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it's not even to say that I'm even new to the workforce. I have experience, years of experience. Finding a job should be relatively easy, right? Or easier for me in regards to, let's say, somebody who has just joined the workforce. It's not. It's just as difficult, if not more difficult. Because at least the people who just joined the workforce, they just take anything, right? But with me, who has the experience, who actually wants to, you know, get a good job that I can actually take care of myself with, because it's just me. Again, like another thing is that a lot of people today, they depend on their family, they depend on their friends, they depend on others to live. There are a lot of people who are living together and they are working on dual income. That's how they survive, right? They rent out, they say two people will be renting out an apartment, they split the rent, they split the bills, or whatever the case may be. And that's how a lot of people live. Actually, there are people nowadays that are actually tripling that. So it's like triple income, you know, like things where like three people are there who are living, splitting everything together, four people. It's insane how where we have reached. Just a couple of years back, what, a decade, 2 decades, say 3 decades ago, one person could work and they would make enough to take care of themselves and have enough to even have a family. That is so bizarre to us, to our generation, Gen Z today, which is like, we can't even think of that. To us, that sounds like the golden age, right? Where one person can make enough to not only take care of themselves, but to take care of others. Whoa, have a family? What? Why do you think nowadays there's such a crisis when it comes to people are not having children anymore? People are just not having children. They can't afford. They can barely afford to take care of themselves. How can they afford to take care of a child? Much less have a family? What? And then of course there's always the people that these big billionaires. Oh, why aren't these people making children? You know, we need more workers. Yeah, well, you are part of the problem, right? You're part of the reason why things are like this, because that's another thing of which I don't understand. I don't understand. Why do we even have billionaires? Why? We don't. Who needs $1 billion? Who? What would you possibly need $1 billion for? Realistically speaking, right? Because you have all your basic needs taken care of. You're living this lavish lifestyle, or you can live whatever lifestyle you want. What are you doing with all that extra money? I don't understand. Like, some of these people, they have this sort of very strange mindset where they have all this money and all they want is just to make more of it. But why? To what end? Is there like an actual goal? There is no goal. The only goal is to just make more, to hoard more. But for what purpose? Again, like, to me, it's such a telltale sign of just greed. And it goes to show how dangerous and damaging greed is, because it's literally crashing the entire world. Like, the whole world is crumbling under this greed, right? Of these people, where they just want to hoard all of this money that they don't even need. They're literally set for life. Their generations are set for life. But they want to hoard more and more and more. For what end? And it's how they are doing it. Because it's one thing I've learned over the years is that a lot of these people, these mega rich people, they didn't get there by being upstanding citizens, by being kind and loving. No, a lot of them, but the majority, 99.99% of them, got to where they got by stepping on other people, by doing underhanded things to get to where they're at, lying, bribing, stealing, taking advantage of others. That's how most of these people have reached to where they are. Even our relatively, I'd say, relatively modern day examples are literally clear signs of this. People like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. These guys were ruthless back in the day. We used to praise them. Back when they really start their businesses, started booming. But it's like these guys are ruthless. These guys literally stole, lied, did everything that they could, no matter if it was ethical or not, to just make more money. Right? And it's like, okay, I'll play devil's advocate here for a second. You've done all this, so now you've obtained all this wealth. Now what? Again, it brings me back to the same question I asked earlier. What is the purpose of you hoarding more money that you don't even need? That money could be used to better the world, to better your community, to advance civilization in ways that we can't even imagine yet. What purpose does it serve hoarding all that wealth to yourself? What? Up to now, I cannot find an answer for that. I can't. I don't know if I can't, they can't either. Because it's such a simple question. It's a simple question. What purpose does it serve? Every action serves a purpose. Well, what's the purpose? There is none. It's just greed. It's just big old plain greediness, which is literally causing the detriment to all of us. And again, it's like I want people to understand. You have a lot more power than you think. You just need to decide, hey, this is really stupid. This is really stupid, and we should all make up our minds to just not do this stupid thing. It's just that simple, right? But a lot of people, they're born into this world and they're conditioned to believe that they're powerless and they can't do anything. And we have to listen to these people because they just they just have more than us. But it's like, that doesn't even make sense. That literally doesn't make sense. It's like, why do people feel like, they just have to listen to these people who have more money than them, or they have to listen to the government, or all these other, why? How did those people get to where they're at? Right? Think about this for a second. I want you to really think about this with me for a second, right? Let's say you're born, right, at a certain age. I don't know. I'll just give an example. Let's say you're born in 2004, right? And there have been people who have been alive, obviously, before you, and have had time to build themselves up, to get wealthy, to get themselves into places of power. What makes you think that because now you're born late on in life and you don't have as much as them, that when these people say, hey, you gotta listen to me, you just listen? Okay, I listen to you. Why? What? Just because they have more than you? These people want to take advantage of you. It would be a completely different situation if they were actually telling you stuff that helped you, trying to help you, to push you, to get you up to like a certain standard where you really feel proud of yourself. These people don't do that. All these plans and rules and regulations and all these systems that are created are just meant to take advantage of you. Why are you listening to something that is hurting you? There are so many people out here that are literally slaves to their own suffering, which it truly baffles me to see this. I have actually seen this in person, mind you. Certain examples of situations where there are some people that will literally fight tooth and nail to hold on to their suffering. Why? Only God knows. Truly. Like, the condition has to be so strong to have that even be possible. But there are some people that will literally fight tooth and nail just to hold on to their suffering. And they will come up with every single excuse as to why they have to continue suffering. Oh, well, that's just how the world is. You gotta fake it till you make it. You gotta keep, and it's just like, but you're miserable. You're struggling to get by on a daily basis. Like, every day you gotta fight to just get up. And you have to try and function through the day. And every day is just a rinse and repeat of the same stressful nonsense. You're barely getting by. Like, barely getting by physically, much less emotionally or mentally. Because every day you just panicked and stressed because you can't even have like 1 week, right? A week, much less a day, where you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about where the next meal is going to come from. You don't have to worry about your paycheck. You don't have to worry about the state of the world. No, but there are people who will, they're brought into this system of just hell, because that's what it is. This is like hell, literally. It's a hellish system. And they're like, oh, well, I'm just one person. What can I do? It's just little old me. Yeah, well, think about this again. If everybody thought that, then of course nothing would change. But if all of us decided, hey, we all have our autonomous human rights and can all make decisions that would improve our situations, we could literally all just decide, hey, we don't want to live like this. And we can all collectively decide to change. I guarantee you, change will be made instantly, because we all would have made that choice, right? All of us. So it's like, if we all just decided to do that, make that choice, we would get what we want. But until we do, and until we take the driving wheel instead of just being passengers in our own life, things won't change. And I still see this up. This is a message that I will probably be stating on my channel for a while. I don't know how long it'll take until people finally get the message, but I'll continue saying it. And that message is that, you have autonomy in your life. Make the decisions that make your life better. And if all of us do that collectively, the world would become a better place. If all of us focused on, acting out of love, not only love for ourselves, but love for others, oh my goodness, the world would be a better place. The same world that you want so badly, where you don't have to worry about anything, right? It starts with you. It literally starts with you. But again, everybody is so caught up because there's so many systems in place to where people feel that they just need to follow it. Oh my God, I have to work, I have to make money. Again, these are all systems. Working, that's a system. Like the whole system of where you need to work to survive, excuse me, that's a system that's meant to distract you, get you confused, get you wrapped up instead of focusing on what's actually important. The fact that you need money to survive, that's another system where it's meant to distract you, to keep you occupied, to keep you panicked. System of, oh, you gotta pay taxes, bills. Another system. If you notice, if you just observe long enough, you realize a lot of these systems are in place not to help you. It's just there to keep you panicked and distracted. Because if you actually had the time, like let's say all your needs were taken care of, you didn't have to worry about any of that. You didn't have to worry about money. You didn't have to worry about food. You didn't have to worry about your well-being. You would actually follow what you want to do in life. You would actually follow your passions. You would literally just do as you please. You would, let's say you always had a passion for, I don't know, for traveling. So you love to travel, you want to see new sights, or you always had a passion for plants. You always loved plants. You wanted to get into that. You would go into that. You would follow your passions, right? What if you and you would not only that, you would have the time to actually sit down and think about things before making a decision. A lot of people make decisions nowadays out of fear and panic of their own well-being, right? That's how most people make their decisions nowadays. A lot of people don't make their decisions out of in an actual safe space, or like a place where they're actually thinking properly and thoroughly about what they're doing. A lot of people make decisions nowadays solely based on fear and panic of, oh, well, if I don't do this or if I don't do that, I'll be in a world of trouble because I don't know where my next meal is gonna come from, etc., etc. And I'm not saying this as like from a holier than thou attitude, because this affects me too, right? This literally affects me as well, where, I have to do certain things, not because I want to, but it's simply because it's like, well, if I don't do these things, I may have to, worry about homelessness pretty soon, right? So, I just wish people would realize that they have a lot more power than they think they do, and enact the change that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in the world, instead of just passively watching, like, oh, this happened or that happened. Oh, yeah, but you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. Oh my goodness, I don't know. The only thing, for me personally, the only thing that's really stopping me from actually enacting the real change I want is the fact that everybody else is not going along with me. Again, to enact real change, there needs to be teamwork, there needs to be community. That's how you get real change done. Yes, it starts with you, but the real change starts with community, right? It's like stages. It's like there's levels and there's stages. The first level is, you yourself making that change, but to get to the next stage, the next big thing, we all have to work together, right? That's the only thing that's really stopping me. I've actually made a lot of changes in my life personally to align myself with the changes that I want to see in the world, right? But to enact that real change, I need other people to stand up alongside me, right? Which is why, again, why I make these videos, because I want people to wake up. I want people to realize, like, hey, hello, We got stuff to do. We got work to do. Actually important work, like more important than the false nonsense that they have us doing every day, going to a job that you don't even like, working for scraps that you could barely even use to take care of yourself. The work I'm talking about is the work of actually enacting change to where we don't have to worry about that anymore. Where every single human being on this planet has food to eat, has a place to rest their head, has clothes to wear, etc., and has the freedom to explore their passions, to be themselves, to do what they want to do. That's the world which we need to bring into fruition, right? Because if we don't, honestly speaking, we're all just gonna die. No, seriously, like as I've said early on in the video, we've reached to this point already where this is how life is. This is the result of us holding on to a very old system where, again, like you can't find a job. You need a job to find a living, but you can't even find a job to work. And then when you do get a job, you don't even make enough to take care of yourself. So then it's like, well, then what's the point? All the necessities that you need, you can't even afford. You could barely afford to pay rent, barely afford to pay groceries. People don't even consider thinking about buying houses anymore. People don't, literally. I don't know a single person that I know around my age, and I'm talking about in their 20s into 30s. I don't know a single one of them who is considering buying a house, right? Few of them, a small few of them would be like, all right, well, maybe I could try and go for a car. But none of them even consider buying a house. None of them consider starting families either. If it happens, it happens. And then they just roll with the punches. But it's not something that any of them even plan for. For me, I know I can't. That's just not even in my mind. I don't even think about, when can I start planning to buy a house or a car or start a family? That's literally just not even in my mind because I can't afford that. I just can't afford it. So it's not even something I'm thinking about. The only thing I'm thinking about is how I can just take care of myself. That's it. That's literally it. I just wanted to rant about that for a bit because it's frustrating, man. I'm frustrated. Honestly, I am frustrated. Months. I've just spent months without a job. Application after application. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. And it's like, to me, it's looking like I'm on a fast track to homelessness. It's only me supporting myself. I don't have family to rely on. I don't have friends to rely on. It's just me. So to me, it's just like, well, I am on a fast track to homelessness. And normally, the old me would be feeling like pretty panic and stressed, but I'm just not even stressed at this point. I'm not even stressed because it's like, well, this is just reality. Like, me stressing about it isn't going to solve the problem, right? Like if that's just in the cards, then that's just in the cards. I'll just have to be on the street and figure out what to do, right, at that point. Because that's just how it's looking. That's just how it's looking. Having to blow out all my savings just to take care of myself. I'm broke, flat broke. Literally, my bank account hate to see me coming. It hate to see me coming. It really do because oh goodness, yeah, it's rough. It's rough out there. Yeah, things are just looking bleak. And the thing is, truthfully, I don't feel bleak. I don't feel stressed. To be honest, I feel quite blessed. which is it's such a weird thing, you know. Like I feel literally inside, I feel blessed, I feel taken care of, I feel fine. But reality is just a different thing. Reality is just like how I feel and what my reality is are two completely different things. But I guess it's just because I've just made peace with my reality. I've just made peace with it. It's just like, okay, well, some things are just like that, and I can't change that, you know. Again, as I said, at least not on my own, right? Um, I can do what little I can and control what little I can in my life, right? But for these really big changes, you know, I can't do it by myself. So it doesn't make sense stressing about all of this when I can't even, there's nothing for me to do. There's nothing I can do, you know? But yeah, it's just frustrating. It really is. I do not have much time. I'll be honest, I don't have much time left, you know, before I'm actually in a very, very bad situation. But Hmm. Yeah, that's just how it is, man. Like I was trying to think about like what exactly to even wrap up the video with, but nothing. There's nothing I really want to wrap it up with. Like I think I'll just leave it there because I mean, like, what more is there to say than that I have not already said, you know? And the fact that, you know, we need to actually enact some serious change if we want to see a difference in our lives, and just to realize how messed up this system really is, you know? And how it's quite literally driving people to their deaths. Literally. You know? Because like in a situation like mine, what am I exactly supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like what am I supposed to do that I have not already done? So yeah, I mean, since I've done everything that I need to do, the only thing left is just to chill, pretty much. Just sit back and chill, and if shit hits the fan, then well, shit. Shit. Literally. Yeah. But I'll leave it with that. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And thanks for watching if you've reached this far. I will try to be more, I don't even know what the word, frequent with the videos. Again, like I know I haven't been up on it. I'm actually so glad some of my friends have encouraged me like, yo, you gotta be more consistent with the vids. So I will. But yeah, just wanted to leave that there with you guys. If you relate, if you have your own experiences, please, you know, share them in the comments, you know, because it's nice to have that form of community at least, and solidarity. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That's it. Peace.